Hello guys, today we're talking about the humerus bone. The humerus bone is the bone of arm and it is the longest bone of the upper limb. There are three parts of humerus bone. The rounded end of the humerus bone, this is the upper end, and flattened end of the humerus bone, this is the lower end. And the middle portion of the humerus bone, it is called shaft. First we are talking about side determination of the humerus bone. The upper end of the humerus bone, it's placed upward, medially and backward, and the lesser tubercle is placed anteriorly. So this is the left humerus bone as we can find here. Now we are talking about how to hold humerus bone in the anatomical position. The rounded end of the humerus bone, this is placed upward, medially and backward, and the lesser tubercle is placed anteriorly or front side, and the bicipital groove is at lateral. In lower end we can see here a medial epicondyle, this is placed side tilted backward about 15 degree. So this is the anatomical position of humerus bone. Now we are talking about the upper end. Upper end has a rounded head. This is articulated with the glenoid cavity of scapula to form the shoulder joint, and it is not a complete sphere because it is the 1/3 part of sphere. Then we are talking about the necks of the humerus. There are three necks: anatomical neck, surgical neck and morphological neck. First we are talking about the anatomical neck. The anatomical neck is line to separate head of the humerus from rest of the upper end, and the surgical neck is imaginary line to separate the upper end from the shaft, and it's related to the axillary nerve and posterior circumflex humeral vessels, and the morphological neck is just above the surgical neck about 0.5 cm. Now we are talking about the lesser tubercle. The lesser tubercle is the small projection on the front of the proximal end of the humerus bone, and it's located at the front of the greater tubercle, and it's separated by the intertubercle sulcus or a bicipital groove. Attachments of the lesser tubercle. The lesser tubercle, it provides an insertion site for the subscapularis muscles and an attachment site for the transverse humeral ligament. Then we're talking about the greater tubercle. The greater tubercle is a large bony projection on the upper end of the humerus, and its most laterally bony landmark on the shoulder area. Location of the greater tubercle. The greater tubercle is located at the proximal end of the humerus, and it's posterolateral to the lesser tubercle, and it's separated by the intertubercular sulcus or a bicipital groove. Attachment of the greater tubercle. The greater tubercle, it provides the attachment for points supraspinatus, infraspinatus muscles and teres minor muscles, which are the part of rotator cuff that stabilize the shoulder joint. Now we are talking about the bicipital groove or intertubercle sulcus. It is a deep sulcus groove on the humerus bone that separates the greater tubercle from the lesser tubercle, and it allows for the long tendon of biceps brachii muscles to pass. Now we are talking about the shaft of the humerus bone. The middle portion of the humerus bone, it is called shaft, and this is weight of the upper arm and give it shape. Borders of the shaft. There are three borders or three surfaces of the humerus. The first border is anterior border, second is medial border, and third is lateral border. Three surfaces: anteromedial surface, anterolateral surface and the posterior surface. First we are talking about the anterior border. The upper 1/3 part of the anterior border, it provides the lateral lip of the greater tubercle, and middle portion of the anterior border we can see here a deltoid tuberosity, and lower part is not traceable. Now we are talking about the medial border. The medial border is start from below, and it's from the medial supracondylar ridge from the medial epicondyle. The end of this border, it makes the middle lip of intertubercle sulcus. Now we are talking about the lateral border. The lateral border, it's from the lateral supracondylar ridge from the lateral epicondyle, and in part of the lateral border we can see here a radial groove or a spiral groove, and upper part is not traceable because it's go for a cylindrical shape. Now we are talking about the surfaces of the shaft or surfaces of the humerus. There are three surfaces. The first is anteromedial surface. The anteromedial surface is between the anterior border or medial border, and it's a continuation of the crest of the greater tubercle. Then the anterolateral surface. The anterolateral surface of the humerus bone, it's located between the anterior border and lateral border of the shaft, and the anterolateral surface has a deltoid tuberosity and a radial groove, as we can see here. Then the posterior surface. The posterior surface of the humerus is a back of the humerus bone, and it's between the medial border or lateral border. Now we are talking about the lower end of the humerus bone. The lower end of the humerus bone, it has two articular surface, that is capitulum and trochlea, and 6 non-articular parts, that is lateral supracondylar ridge, medial supracondylar ridge, lateral epicondyle, medial epicondyle, coronoid fossa, radial fossa, and olecranon fossa, and here is a ulnar groove for ulnar nerve. Now first we are talking about the capitulum. It is a smooth articular surface and covered by the articular cartilage, and it's articulate with the head of the radius to form the humeroradial part of the elbow joint. And the trochlea. The trochlea is the pulley shaped articular surface to articulate with the ulnar bone to form the humero-ulnar joint of the elbow joint. Now we are talking about the medial epicondyle. The medial epicondyle is a blunt projection at the end of the medial border of the humerus, and the posterior aspect of the medial epicondyle has a ulnar groove for the ulnar nerve. This is the ulnar nerve groove. Now we are talking about the lateral epicondyle. The lateral epicondyle, a projection which is located at the lateral side of the lower end of the humerus and bottom side of the humerus. It is the bump on the humerus bone and lower side of the lower end of the humerus bone. It is known as the lateral epicondyle. This is, and it's just laterally to the capitulum. Now we are talking about the medial supracondylar ridge. The medial supracondylar ridge is the inferior third part of the medial border of the humerus. It has an anterior leaf for the origin of the branchialis and pronator teres muscles, and a posterior leaf of the medial head of the triceps brachii muscles. The lateral supracondylar ridge. The lateral supracondylar ridge is a prominent row margin on the lower part of the lateral border of the humerus. Now we are talking about the radial fossa. This is the radial fossa, just above the capitulum. This is the radial fossa. The radial fossa is a small shallow depression found superior to the capitulum, okay, at the lower end. Now we are talking about the coronoid fossa. This is called coronoid fossa. The coronoid fossa is a small depression on the anterior surface of the humerus, and it's located at the just above front of the trochlea of the humerus at the lower end. Okay, now we are talking about the olecranon fossa. This is the olecranon. The olecranon fossa is a deep triangular cavity at the back of the distal end of the humerus, and it accommodates the olecranon of the ulna when the arm is fully extended, and it's located at the posterior surface and just above the trochlea at the posterior surface, and this is the ulnar groove for the ulnar nerve pass through it. So I hope this video is helpful. If your video found helpful, so please subscribe our channel, and thank you.